Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
Hello and welcome to Popternative. This is the talk show and podcast where we have digital discussions, worlds of TV, film, news, pop culture, everything really depending on the guest. We talk about it all. As always, I'm Rose Permiotis. On social media, you know me as PD Beats. In July on Netflix, the Fear Street Trilogy is going to be dropping, and we're speaking to someone who you're going to recognize from 2 out of the 3 films. Julia Rehwald is with us. Julia, welcome to Popternative.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
I'm excited to chat. I mean, we talked about it a little bit before. I mean, you know, July is going to be the Fear Street month. I mean, they're rolling out all these movies. You got to be in in 2 of them, 1994 and 1666. I mean, overall, what was the experience like working on these films?
It was crazy. Because I think all together, because we filmed them in Atlanta, so I guess all together I was there from like March through August.
Yep.
Which was like a long time. So we did 94 first, and then we did 66.
Mm-hmm.
And then we like dipped out, and then they filmed 78 after that. But it was crazy. It was like awesome and like such like a wild experience to do like 2 movies. My first movie, but to do 2 of them back to back in like one go was like, it was a roller coaster.
And July 2nd, people are going to be able to see part 1, which is 1994. And you have just an amazing role. Your character is just such a fun, strong character. What was it like diving into the shoes of that character?
It was awesome. I think reading the script for the first time, like I saw a lot of like a younger me in Kate.
Yep.
But like Kate's like cooler, like you know what I mean? Like I was like, okay, like I get
there's like a swagger to Kate for sure.
Yeah, I would like when I was playing her, I was like, wow, I feel right now. But she was really fun to like build because she's so gutsy and like strong and like really motivated in herself, but she also has like such a soft heart for her friends. And it was like really cool to get to like play somebody who is like balancing both of those.
Absolutely. I'm just curious, before you sign on to work on the Fear Street films, what's your familiarity or knowledge or interest with the horror genre?
Oh, I'm a big horror fan.
Great.
Yeah, I love it.
So this is like perfect dream come true, maybe, right?
Yeah. I was like, I read Fear Street 2 as a kid, so like I was just excited to like get to audition for it, and then seeing the way they like did it and like vamped it up, I was like, this is a cool project. So it's great, yeah.
I had a chance to I interviewed Jeremy Ford, who plays Peter, and we kind of established that the Fear Street movies, especially 1994, has kind of the feel of like Scream, Halloween, and Stranger Things all in one. Yes. Which I think is a pretty good sum up of what to expect.
Yeah, that's like exactly the vibe that's literally, I would probably say like in the Venn diagram of like Scream, Stranger Things, and I would kind of throw in Goonies in there too.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, it's like all of the good things about those in like one project, and I was like,
oh. Now, there's going to be, good character arcs, good character dynamic. There's going to be some scares. There's going to be some gore. This is going to be a gory, like more. This movie has gore. Let's just put it at that.
Yes, it does. It did. There's no shortage of blood.
It's interesting. So when you get the script and you're going to be Kate and everything. About the Fear Street movie books. That's really cool. Were you kind of wondering, like, what are they going to do? They want, like, this is going to, these are films that are going to, the teen audience is going to watch them. The little older crowd's going to watch them as well, right? But were you thinking, like, is there going to be gore? Are they going to make it more jump scare? Like, was any of that coming to mind at all when you were, like, signing on to do the project?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I was kind of curious because sometimes like you read the script and you're like in it, but it's I don't know if I'm the like type of person to be able to like understand fully like the tone of like what it's gonna look like just from reading it. So
Mhm.
I think it's like once we started and I got to see like what the vibes were in person, I was like, oh, okay, okay. And then once we got there, I was like, yeah, so it's gonna be we're not like shying away from the scariness
Well, I
of it.
kind of want to ask you about stuff, but I'm not sure. Like, it's always tough doing these interviews because, like, yeah, like I don't know, like there's people that just do like spoiler interviews, but I always like people going in fresh so that they can go watch the stuff because they get kind of a taste like, oh, she's talking about things. Well, I need to go watch Fear Street to find out more, right? But you're all we can say is that your character, like a lot of the characters, goes for a roller coaster in this
Yeah.
in 1994.
Yep. Big
Now,
highs, big lows.
now, obviously, it's interesting because 1994, 1978, we were joking around like a lot of the cast from the 1994 kind of like took a break, just took it easy, and then a lot of you guys are going to be back for 1666 as other characters. That's pretty cool too. It's like two roles in one project.
Yeah, it was really cool. I remember when we auditioned for it, like my audition packet was like one thing for each character.
Yep.
And they're like different characters, but I think they like share like the same core, and then
Mhm.
they're different versions of each other.
Yeah, which is amazing. Oh, absolutely. Um, has it hit you yet that they're finally going to be coming out? Like, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, no, not. It's like it's like my brain is like having a very delayed response, and I'm like watching the trailer with like my family, and I'm like, yeah, wow, it's real. I guess. Um,
Absolutely. When people get to watch these films, though, like obviously, like escapism, homage to horror, like that's what you're hoping to get out of it, right?
yeah, it's like very nostalgic of like the classic horror movies from like the 80s and 90s.
Oh, absolutely. It's funny because I want to bring this up because you say you're a big horror movie fan. I'm a huge one too. Like I'm especially like in the fall. Like that's all I watch. Like it's I have actually like 2 years in a row we did like a calendar like a movie like a horror movie every day in October.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's great, and it's like all over the map. It's like old, new, foreign. Like it's and like some of them are like in a row, like five, like all the Halloweens in a row, right? Like it's a whole like methodical system of movies.
Oh, I love that. Like
But
25 Days of Christmas, but for like Halloween.
yeah, exactly. But I don't know what my favorite one is because it's so hard for me to pinpoint because there's so many good. I can't tell you though the scariest movie I've ever seen. So I wanted to know if you agree. Have you seen The Strangers with Liv Tyler and Scott Speedman?
That's
Yeah.
so good. And I think I watched it a while ago, but before I watched it, I think like someone said like a very similar thing, and they're
It's
like,
like
this is
one of
like
the most scariest things that it's probably in my opinion the most scariest movie I've ever seen.
yeah. And it like I was like, ooh, that's like pretty big hype. And then I watched, I was like, that that
Well,
was
because it's
that's hype.
realistic and they're so far away, they're on like a farm and it's so dark and like
It's legit scary for sure. I love that one.
absolutely. What's your favorite thing about being a storyteller and an actor? Like, what is there anything you kind of like about it that like that you like better than other things about it? Like,
Hmm. Yeah, I think it's like I think while doing it, I just think it's really fun to not be yourself
mhm.
for a while. Like it's like really cool to just embody somebody completely separate from you in like a world that you don't I guess for this one specifically, like you don't experience like in reality. I think it's especially fun to like have circumstances that are like spooky or magical or anything like that. And you're like, I get this gets to be real for a little bit.
Absolutely. No, it's so true. And people are going to be able to watch the movies. So like they're going to be able, it's exciting too. I'm wondering if people are going to like, if there's going to be a mix of both where people are gonna like watch them week after week, which I feel like a lot of people are gonna do, or if people are just gonna wait and do all 3 in a row. Like I'm wondering if you're gonna have like a mix of both people that do that.
Yeah, I feel like yeah, probably because sometimes it's fun to like do a huge marathon and just make it like an event. But then the tricky part is like avoiding spoilers for those
Well, they're
first.
gonna be able to, watch it, get some snacks, make a peanut butter jam sandwich, get the bread slicer. I don't know, maybe.
Just have a little bread.
um, is it like when you kind of work on this? I mean, probably yeah, because you're a big horror movie fan. But like, does this kind of like motivate you to maybe work again in horror? I mean, you obviously want to go like where the opportunities are, but like, did that happen? Did that rush hit you? Like, I want to do more horror. Like, did that happen to you a bit?
Yeah, I think if I were to like come across like another like project like this that like felt like it was really going back to like what I love about horror movies, I would love to do it again. It was like such a great experience.
Yeah, absolutely. Besides like acting, a lot of people are also experimenting and wearing many hats in the entertainment industry as well. They write, they direct, they produce. Obviously, acting is something you're focusing on, Julia. But have you ever thought about that, like going behind the camera as well?
I would love to like experiment on different sides of like filmmaking.
Yeah,
I really want to like produce stuff someday, and like I have like stories that I've read that I love that I'd like love to adapt into like film medium. Later on, it's something that I would love to get my hands on and start to work on.
absolutely. And quickly before we wrap up, I mean, you're part of the Fear Street family, obviously, but you're also part of the Netflix family come July 2nd. How does it feel to be part of the Netflix family? It's crazy.
Yeah, it feels it feels wild. I'm just like I'm here for the ride and like doing things as they come along, and it's like starting to feel real. It's crazy. I feel so lucky to be here.
Absolutely. Julia, thank you so much for coming on Popternative. It was great chatting with you.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It was great to be here.
Yeah, so July 2nd, the first one's going to come out, and then the week after, 78, and then 1666. So it's going to be a Fear Street summer in July. It's going to be exciting. And where can we follow you on social media to keep up to date with everything? Is there Instagram or?
Yeah, my Instagram is julieb_Maria.
Amazing. Well, this has been Popternative, youtube.com/Popturn. For previous episodes, be sure to catch Julia Rehwald in Fear Street Part 1, 1994, and Fear Street Part 3, 1666, coming to Netflix in July. Until next time, it's Julia and PD Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.